Now, this was breaking news moments ago, too. FBI Director Christopher Wray says he's going to step down at the end of President Biden's term in January. President-elect Trump has already nominated Kash Patel to replace Christopher Wray. Patel still faces a Senate confirmation hearing. Wray was telling an FBI town hall, the men and women of the Bureau are why it will be successful, quote unquote, long into the future. We're all over this. Also, news from moments ago, President-elect Trump's defense secretary nominee, Pete Hegseth, was talking about his meeting with Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine. Watch.
You characterize this meeting. It was a great meeting. Having a tremendous amount of respect. Thank you. Sorry, it was a great meeting with Senator Collins. And again, at office after office, having the opportunity to spend time with these senators who have invested their careers in ensuring that our warfighters get what they need has been an amazing educational process. And Senator Collins, like her colleagues before her, reiterated that. And it was a wonderful conversation. We focused on what needs to be done to make sure this Pentagon is focused on warfighting and lethality. And we look forward to staying in touch with them.
You
certainly not going to assume anything about where the senator stands. This is a process that we respect and appreciate, and we hope through time overall, when we get through that committee and to the floor, that we can earn her support. But it's about earning support in this process in ongoing conversations, and we're doing this for the warfighters, and I'm grateful to the president.
Did you hear that? Earning support. Earning it. Not being given support. That's what he's saying. Earning it. Because earning it goes a long way. Because you have to put work into earning it. And that means something when you're willing to invest the time.
Senator Susan Collins of Maine says she and Pete talked for more than an hour, but she'll wait for Hegseth's confirmation hearing and FBI background check before making a decision. Here she is.
We covered a wide range of topics, ranging from defense procurement reforms to the role of women in the military, sexual assault in the military, Ukraine, NATO, a wide range of issues.
I want to bring in now the incoming Senate Majority Leader, South Dakota Republican John Thune. Great to see you. First of all, let's start with Susan Collins. She's known as what would be called a swing vote often on confirmations. Are there members of your chamber, though, who seem to be shifting? It seems like it's a bit more in Pete's favor. He didn't want to call that. What's happening?
I think he's making his argument, Harris, and he's doing a nice job. A lot of these nominees, including Pete Hegseth, have been making the rounds on the Capitol, starting with the committees of jurisdiction that will have responsibility for the confirmation process and ensure that their nominations make it eventually to the floor. And I think the nominees are doing a really nice job. I mean, Pete Hegseth, in his conversations, I think, with members, has been very compelling in terms of what he believes is necessary to put the real focus on the war fighter when it comes to the Defense Department's priorities. As you heard Susan Collins talk about procurement reform, that's something that's important to a lot of our members. And, he's got the background. He's a combat veteran. He's obviously somebody who understands what it takes to fight battles on the ground. And I think that's a perspective that is very impressive to a lot of the members that he's had the opportunity to meet with so far and to be questioned by.
You are loved by your voters in South Dakota, have covered you for many years. You're about to play a different role. What kind of conversations are you having with President-elect Trump's incoming nominees, potentially incoming, they're nominees at this point, based on your background, your experience with this process?
Well, the last time President Trump was president, Harris, I was the chairman of a major committee, and we had the responsibility for vetting and reporting out and confirming a lot of the Trump nominees, including Secretary of Transportation, Secretary of Commerce, FCC. A lot of those came through our committee. And so I've been through this process. I think that the Trump nominees are approaching this the right way. They're coming in. They've been very open and candid and subjecting themselves to lots of questions from lots of senators from different parts of the country who have different perspectives on these issues and want to hear from them about their vision for the jobs that they've been nominated for. And I think the important thing here is President Trump needs his team in place to be able to implement his agenda. These are the people that he selected.
Right.
I give wide latitude and wide deference to the president when he makes these selections. We have a job to do, advice and consent, and a process that's fair to all these nominees.
Well, look, the American people who voted feel that way. Take a look at this. This is a CNN poll that shows that actually, if we can put it up, north of 50% of people like the way, 55% approve of and like the way Trump is handling his presidential transition. So it's what you're talking about. I want to talk a little bit about a couple of things. So a few minutes ago, we learned that Christopher Wray has announced his resignation. He was meeting with, members of the Bureau, his rank and file, and he announced that will happen at the end of this year, going into January. And President-elect Trump has already announced Kash Patel is who he would like to see take that position. Your immediate reaction to Wray's announcement?
I think probably expected. I think when there is a transition, president comes in, wants his people in place, and I think understandably the people who have those roles today, I think, get that. So I don't see that as a big surprise, and the president has nominated someone for that position who is already making the rounds and having his meetings on Capitol Hill with the senators who are going to be really relevant to his nomination process, and I think doing a nice job again of explaining his vision for the future of the FBI. These are a lot of agencies, as you know, Harris, that are desperately in need of reform, of modernization, some house cleaning, and I think a lot of these nominees are coming forward in a way that explains how they want to go about doing that, and I think it's going to be, and you're right, the American people wanted to see change. That's why they gave President Trump the vote. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge number. And I think it speaks to just the appetite there is in this country for a different direction for the country. The President Trump is giving the American voters that, and we want to work with him as willing partners to make sure that we do our jobs, but also that he has his team in place to implement his agenda.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
don't know if there is the intestinal fortitude or will among both sides of the aisle to get it done, but I vote for starting with DHS, which has let us down on both FEMA and the department that handles not just emergencies, but the border. I mean, and Secret Service, not let us down, but we need to shore them up and give them what they need. So that's my vote.
Let's see here.
This is the story. I'm Harris Faulkner, in today for Martha McCallum. The Pentagon briefing room just got quite a show when the Deputy Press Secretary, Sabrina Singh, was asked about the mysterious drones being spotted over the East Coast cities in the past few weeks, the concentration of them over the state of New Jersey in areas near the home of President-elect Donald Trump. In a shocking moment on the Faulkner Focus from Capitol Hill, Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey told me this.
Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the East Coast of the United States of America. The sources I have.
All I'm gonna say is those look like the same ones I've seen where they were like, it was like three of them, and they kept moving positions. They would move. They was moving like this, but it was always three at a time, and they kept moving positions.
Are good. They can't reveal who they are because they are speaking to me in confidentiality. These drones should be shot down. Whether it was some crazy hobbyist that we can't imagine, or whether it is Iran, and I think it very possibly could be, they should be shot down.
And he got Washington, D.C.'s attention. Moments ago, here's the Pentagon responding.
There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
You know what there also is none of? Information coming out of the feds and the White House.
For real. Have y'all been looking at any of the press briefings, especially the ones with that Corinne, whatever her name is, whoever the Biden administration's press secretary is, whatever her name is, like it just seems like she don't answer. It's not just her though. They all seem to be doing that. They don't really answer questions. They love to defer a lot of questions, point you in another direction, reiterate a previous statement. But do they ever answer a question directly? I mean, that's just something that I observe about her. Like she don't.
Well, look, you want to talk about budgeting. Think about the budget and resources among all those municipalities, in particularly New Jersey, near where the incoming president, number 47 for this nation, lives. I mean, can you imagine what those sheriff's departments and police officers are going through? They're having to talk with a public that is not informed on something that some of these drones have been reported to be the size of an SUV, Congressman.
You're right, and these threats are very real. Here we have, it's not as if a what if could happen to President Trump. This has already happened, and other threats have been circulated. The Iranians are surely always up to no good. It's just we have to keep our eye on the ball, and ultimately, the American people deserve to know what is happening, where their taxpayers' dollars going, and if they're not getting answers, well, how do we put resources towards making sure law enforcement has every instrument possible to keep us safe, and also, more important, probably ultimately important, keep the President of the United States, or the incoming President of the United States, Trump, equally as safe.
Look, scientists are telling me now that our law enforcement, our local municipality, law enforcement does not have.
You know what? I just thought about SpaceX for some reason. I just thought about SpaceX. For some reason, I just thought about SpaceX. Just thought I'd share.
Have the capability to study these drones. I mean, you need the Department of Defense to come in at this point and close down some of the airspace so that they can figure out what's going on. Now, I took away from what you said.
See?
I don't know,
see?
maybe the Pentagon.
Y'all see how, did y'all just see how the drones were in threes? Look.
I mean, you need the Department of Defense to come in at this point and close down some of the airspace so that they can figure out what's going on.
See that?
Now, I took away from what you said.
Look. Remember what I just said? What did I just say? That I've seen them this way as well, where they're circulating in threes, but they keep moving. I have a video as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe the Pentagon was either not telling us everything that's going on or spoke too soon, because multiple people now are talking about the idea that Iran may have some part in this. We don't know, but maybe.
Well, when I had this conversation with a high-level official, it was very clear it was important to them, and they're doing everything they can to find more information. But this is, once again, where this administration has failed. We need more transparency, good parts, the bad parts.
I don't think those are drones, but that's just my opinion.
The ugly parts, so that way we can fix things. We just want people to be safe. You don't want to have the unknown. The drone technology is not a new technology. It's an old technology. What happens when you add AI to it? Things get scary very fast, and the American people deserve to feel safe. They also deserve to have their taxpayer dollars going towards making them safe, not just when we invest zero in counter drone technology. That's a problem.
Is that what's happening? I mean, I do want to know how there's no calculation after you see maybe 4 or 5 nights, and now we're a month into this. I mean, what if this is driven by fossil fuel and a thing that's the size of an SUV crashes into a house because it runs out of fuel? What if it is battery power? It should be landing someplace and recharging. We can't follow that. We've got to close the airspace. What do you want to see happen?
I want us not to go, oh, I told you so, and look back, and you can see this train wreck happening. So let's get ahead of it. There's already technology now where you can send a drone up and intercept another drone, right? And you can essentially capture it. I've talked about capturing it, not necessarily because there's danger to shooting things out of the air.
I agree.
How do we capture it so that way we can bring it back, figure out where it came from, find its flight path, find its frequencies, find some of the metadata that's embedded in it, the information that it was sharing, who was it sharing to, so that way you're not just going after an instrument, you're going after a network. This is the level of detail that our federal government needs to be working with our state and local partners to solve, to keep Americans safe. That's what I've been pushing for, as well as many of my House Republican colleagues, to get answers that the American people deserve and ultimately keep us.
What if they're Transformers? Yo, that would be cool, dog. I think that would be cool. What if they're Transformers? At least they're making their presence known. I'm glad everybody is seeing them now. Y'all are getting acclimated. That is what's happening. If that's what's happening, I think y'all should be in the moment with this. That y'all are, being in the moment with y'all seeing stuff like this. You've always wondered about it. Now you know there's a real live chance, okay? Congress has already had hearings about it. Whistleblowers have already talked about it, y'all. This is a way for you to begin to get acclimated to reality, how it's happening right now. Being in the moment with what's happening right now. If you're seeing these objects in the sky, pay attention. Pay attention. But understand that it has yet to disrupt things. So I don't want people to panic. But we know how people get anxiety over new things and changes. So until I feel like until there's a necessary need to react, I don't think hopefully people don't be too alarmed that they're disrupting their day, and because it don't seem like it to me. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. But the possibilities in your face now. That's all I'm saying.
It's all safe.
You just took this to another level. They're flying near the home, Bedminster, New Jersey, of the incoming president, and you're suggesting that collecting information could be part of this. This sounds like the China spy balloon that the White House didn't tell us about for a week. I mean, this is a lot. Congressman Gonzalez, I'm so grateful for your time and your expertise. I can't wait till the next time we talk, because I hope we both have more answers.
Thank you, Harris.
Thank you. Next, a scientific researcher on what the capabilities of those mysterious drones spotted over the East Coast could mean, what they could be, and why he says this entire situation is unnerving.
We're passing each other.
Y'all see how they moving?
Stop cursing.
It looks like a hoverboard. Do you think it's kind?
That's cute.
Republican lawmakers are very angry about a briefing regarding the mysterious drones flying over New Jersey.
I learned that they don't really know very much about where these drones are coming from, where they're going to, or who owns them. And that really disturbs me.
We're all frustrated, the lack of support. And I'll put that firmly on the Biden administration.
We could know a lot more, but we don't. The briefing I just sat through was a disgrace. It was an insult to our legislatures. And I've never been through a more amateur hour briefing in my entire life.
What in the world are we doing? We have let me get the right way. We have UAPs flying in our atmosphere, and we don't know what they are, where they came from, so we are essentially sitting ducks, because that is what they are saying. That's what these lawmakers are saying. They're like, how is it that our airspace has UAPs flying and no one knows what they are or where they came from? They're just flying around. And you what you gonna say, they don't exist? You can't say that. Those were everyday citizens on those videos taking videos of those flying objects. Those were everyday citizens. That didn't come from the government. So we're seeing them, and I have videos myself of the things flying. So we know that they're here. You can't say that they're not here, because we know y'all done did that in the past. You can't say that now. You can't say that now. The question is, why don't you know what they are or where they came from? Who's monitoring them? What information should be gathered already from these things that we know are here? This is interesting that they couldn't give any information about this. So basically, y'all, they're saying they don't know, just like we don't, what's flying in our airspace. Woo!
Wow, just hearing him say we could know a lot more, but we don't. That's frustrating. Unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UAP researcher Gregory Goen, says the drone situation is out of control. He joins me in moments. First, let's go to our correspondent on this story, Nate Foy, in Ewing Township, New Jersey. Nate, the frustration and even in some places the fear and concern grows by the hour.
Absolutely, Harris, and it's increasing by the day. And you heard some of that frustration from lawmakers today. Essentially, the story here in New Jersey, where we are, is that state assemblymen, legislators, mayors all came here for briefings thinking that Governor Murphy was going to be here. Many were frustrated. His office, Governor Murphy's office, called the meeting. They thought that he should be here, and they also thought that the FBI, the lead agency in this investigation, should be here. Take a look at some of the reactions.
The governor is not inside. Where are you, Phil Murphy? This is ridiculous.
I really thought he was going to be here for us because he needs to answer us. Responsibility has to lie on him. And maybe we need a state of emergency at this point.
So, Harris, one mayor told Fox that state police are investigating more than 180 drone sightings, and they're having difficulty picking up a signal from the drones, so they don't know who's flying them, and they also don't know where they take off and land. Now, some say the drones should be shot down, but that raises the risk of collateral damage. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill asked the FBI what process is in place to disable these drones if necessary.
So authority exists to mitigate a UAS in flight when authorized, and that could certainly apply to a sensitive site. I would be a little measured in speaking for the Department of Defense for those sites that are in question here.
One New Jersey State Assemblywoman says that it's misleading for authorities to say that there's no known.
Y'all look at this. I don't hear this I don't hear nobody talking about this. This is interesting. President Trump proclaims Canada should become the 51st state. Names Trudeau as governor. They sitting down having discussions. The governor of Canada. It was a pleasure to have. So it says Donald J. Trump at real Donald Trump. So this is his page. It was a pleasure to have dinner the other night with Governor Justin Trudeau of the great state of Canada. I look forward to seeing the governor again soon so that we may continue our in-depth talks on tariffs and trade, the results of which will be truly spectacular for all. So it says, breaking, President Donald Trump proposes a game-changing move. Canada should become America's 51st state, with Justin Trudeau as its governor. With bold leadership and a vision rooted in biblical prophecy, Trump reshapes geopolitics and asserts U.S. dominance like never before. Y'all think we're going to have a 51st state? Do y'all think we're going to have a 51st state? This would be interesting here. Interesting. I'm probably going to do a reading on this because I want to see if we are looking at having another state in America. Do y'all know what that would mean if we got Canada as a state? They join forces with the U.S. This is interesting. Yeah, I want to do a reading to see what's going to happen with this, because this is interesting.